I'm Grace. I'm a 22er in Squadron 12. My major is civil engineering, and I'm on the women's track and field team. I spend around 20 hours a week while I'm in season, practicing, lifting, all that stuff.
I'm Evelyn Johnson. I'm a senior here. My major is foreign area studies with a poli-sci track, and then my minor is in Chinese. And I'm a swimmer here. I'm on the women's swimming and diving team, and we're about 20 to 22 hours a week that I'm down there at the pool or in the weight room.
My name is Jeremiah Birdsong. I'm a C2C. I'm in Squad 23. I'm a boxer, and I'm usually down at practice Monday through Friday for about 2 to 3 hours a day.
I think balancing the workload and practice and all that is mostly just hard because there's not as much time for yourself as like other people. So when other people get to go back to their rooms and relax and watch like a Netflix show, you kind of have to like buckle down and do your homework, which is something I really struggled with at first because I would come back to my room and I would sit around for a while and watch videos and YouTube and whatever, and then I'd like have to stay up all night doing my homework. So the best way to like get past that is like get a friend and be like, okay, we're meeting at 6:30 to do this homework, and then that kind of keeps you accountable, and that's a good way to get homework done.
The hardest part about being an IC and balancing my academics is definitely time management. There's not a lot of hours in the day, and you're forced and torn in between different things that the academy throws at you. And the most challenging thing that like I personally have dealt with is just not having the right resources, but like learning where those are. And that's like the success I found through it, is that everybody here is wanting to help you succeed, and all your teammates are wanting you to succeed as well. So they're for sure going to help you out.
For me, the biggest struggle with academics and hockey is just time management. Time is money here, and it's easy to get off track and lose time, and time is definitely the most valuable thing.
Academic load as an IC, it can be pretty taxing if you don't manage your time management very well. Me personally, when I first got here, I struggled with academics heavily. I was actually on academic probation my first semester of my freshman year because I kind of just shot the breeze, didn't really manage my time well, didn't really do my homework, all that. But once I kind of got into a system for myself that I found that worked for me, it worked. I started to do a lot better in school.
Yeah, one learning strategy I definitely use is using a timer. Like try to work for as long as you can, either 30 minutes or an hour, and then take a good 5 to 10 minute break, kind of just relax and do whatever you need to do, and then do it over again. Sometimes giant group studying doesn't work because one person will be doing a lot of the work and you think you're learning it and you're like, oh, this makes sense in my head, but then when you get to a test, you can't necessarily repeat it yourself. So definitely smaller groups, partners, things like that are better for studying.
Okay, so the one thing that I found that helped me the most in terms of studying was setting a timer. I usually do about 40 minutes, and I do one subject, and then when that's over, I take a break, and then I move on to a different subject, and then when that timer's over, I go back to the first subject. So it's called interleaving, and that's like the number one strategy that I use because I really get bored with one subject. So switching them out really helps me keep my brain activated, and this has helped me tremendously. I struggled with grades a lot, especially freshman year, and just balancing everything. I didn't know how to study, but using this technique has really improved my GPA a lot.
For me, it's just the most important thing is just staying organized. And when I stay organized, I know what's coming up and what I have to prepare for. And I usually depending on the class, for my math classes, if I got a GR coming up, I'll start studying maybe a week in advance, just start flipping through the notes and looking at previous homeworks. And it's just important to stay on top of due dates, tests, just knowing when things are coming up.
A learning strategy I really liked was the interleaving strategy. That's kind of like you do a subject for, you start with a subject and then you go to another subject, then you come back to that subject. It kind of just makes the workload not seem as hard And especially if you start with a subject you like, then you go to a subject you don't like, and then a subject you like, and then vice versa, et cetera, et cetera. It really helps you out. It makes you feel the work get done very effectively, but it doesn't feel like it takes a lot of time.
The QRC is definitely one of the best resources that they have for ICs because they stay open so late. I remember being a freshman and walking in there at like 7:30 or 8 and still getting a good amount of work done. They also have people specific for the athletic department in the QRC, so you can talk to your coaches and figure out who those are. Along with your team officer representatives are great resources and they're always willing to help.
Okay, so for resources, definitely the QRC. I probably lived in there every single day of the week. After practice, I just go straight down there and I'd stay there and get the help that I needed. And the writing center is down there as well. In terms of like specific tutoring, getting EI and getting EI early with your teachers really want you to succeed and they love helping us out.
For other resources, I would definitely recommend. Well, for me, I'm a STEM guy, and my writing isn't very good. So I go to the writing center whenever I have to write a paper. I'll go to the writing center, and as soon as I get the prompt, I'll go there, and they'll help me walk through it, kind of give me good ideas, and I'll write it, take it back to them. They'll help me more. I know for people that struggle more with STEM, the QRC is a great option. A lot of my teammates would go there for chemistry, especially.
Resources at USAF I really like to use. I love going to the QRC. It helped me a lot, especially my freshman year. Just being able to go in there, they have walking hours where you can set an appointment. It's just effective EI catered towards you. So you go in with the questions you have, they help out a lot. Another thing that really helped me out was the writing center. Super big help for me. I was always a decent writer, but they kind of like touched up my writing, and then they would ask me effective questions so that I could more effectively just get better at my writing altogether. I know a lot of people struggle with writing, so I really recommend that.
I would say for sure to just get ahead on things because you never know when one week is going to be a lot harder than all the other weeks. And so if you're ahead and you have this cushion and you have a pretty good grade, sometimes you can afford to take a hit. And then also prioritization. Sometimes your sport might be a little more important because you got to deal with an injury. And sometimes school is going to be a little more important because you have a big test coming up and you need to do well on it. So it's a good balance of both. You can't just give all your energy to one and take from the other. Otherwise, it just kind of gets hard.
Some 4-degree advice is getting to know your teachers well and going to see them often. With the classes I struggle with, even this year as a senior, I go in and see my teacher at least once a week during EI. And then the second thing is really using your time during the day when your door's open. Just do as much homework as you can. That way after practice, if you're tired, you need to do other things, you can get that taken care of and your homework's already done.
For the 4 degrees, I mean, it's easy to say, but just don't get behind. Well, I'd say 1, don't get behind. 2, the best piece of advice I've ever got from someone that's gone through it here as an IC was sleep is the most valuable thing you can do here. Like if you start staying up late, and I know a lot of ICs have practice early in the morning, and if you start staying up late, then everything just snowballs after that because you just can't function during the classroom. So then you're struggling to learn the material after class, and then you're staying up later, and it's just a snowball effect.
If I could give the 4 degrees of strategy, I would say time management is humongous, especially here at USAFA. With all the military duties and all the extra stuff that we have to do, just being able to manage your time for this block of time I'm going to study, this block of time I'm going to talk to my family, this block of time I'm going to study for this K-test, or et cetera, et cetera. You can do that, and it just really helps you manage your time, and you realize that you're getting more done than you would if you're just trying to kind of like shoot the breeze. Another big thing, utilize your weekends. Me personally, will work Friday and Sunday and kind of give myself Saturday off, just relieve myself, go out base, get something to eat, something along those lines. And it just makes it easier throughout the weeks whenever you do stuff like that.